So, welcome to Leadership Series, and this time we've got the fabulous Emma McQueen online with us. So, Emma, what I'd love for you to do, if you could just start by introducing yourself, just a bit of, well, I was going to say a bit about what you do, but you do so much, so that'll be big, and also just a little bit about your leadership journey, please.
Oh my goodness. How much time have you got?
That's it, I think.
All right. Well, the most useful thing I think is that I started life thinking I was going to be a secretary. Let's start there.
Wow.
And that was what I was destined to be. But of course, it wasn't what I was destined to be. I went and started in recruitment for my sins. I did mining recruitment and I did white and blue collar recruitment. You name it, I did it. And then I scammed my dream job at World Vision Australia, and I was there for 12 years. I started as their recruitment manager, and then I moved around that department. So I've done learning and development, OD, change, all the things. The recruitment job was my favorite. It was my favorite because we were able to rip out millions of dollars worth of agency fees because we got the systems right, and then we got the people right, and all the things. And so I spent 12 years working my way through that organisation and ended up coaching the execs there and becoming a HR director for World Vision Australia, which was one of my favourite jobs. 12 years. It's a long time, hey?
A long time, especially when you're so young.
I know, especially because I'm so young. I'm only 18. I started when I was 6. And then I decided about 9 years ago, I had a little itch. I already had a little side hustle. So I'm on the faculty. I'm on 3 faculties, actually. The first faculty is Women in Leadership Australia. The second faculty is the Marketing Academy. And the third one is a business school. Women in Leadership Australia approached me and said, can you just coach a cohort of women? And I'm like, that sounds like fun. Sure. I didn't realise it was 35 women. So there was that. And I was juggling a full-time role at World Vision and a tiny child. So I did that and loved it, and it kind of gave me, I've always been a little bit entrepreneurial, so it allowed me to scratch that itch. And then a couple of years later, I'm like, I need to do this for myself. So now I lead communities and I lead my clients, and it's a different type of leading than it was at World Vision, but I love this one the best.
Oh, I've got to say, I'm going to give you a completely unashamed plug here. Anybody watching this can tap into Emma McQueen. She is the queen of it all. So highly recommend tap into it. And I'm speaking from experience, well and truly.
Oh, thank you.
But just one thing I ask everybody here is what's something you wish somebody had told you before you became a leader?
I wish that they had said, it's not about you anymore. I think what happens when you become a leader, well, what should happen, right? What should happen and what does happen, 2 different things. But what should happen is you get a roadmap to tell you how you're meant to behave. And you also get told that your job literally is to get results through other people. And no credit happens for you from that moment onwards. And so I think a lot of leaders kind of go, oh, and organizations reward those that do. And the problem with getting results through people is that they all get rewarded and you're just like, oh, what am I? Sliced cheese. And that was really hard because you don't get the credit anymore, but it's all happening because of you or through you. And I wish someone had said that to me. It's not about you anymore, Em.
But in a way, it sort of kind of is, because you get to look back and go, well, it wouldn't have happened without me. I've created that. I've generated that. So, yeah, you're right. Yes. Take the credit yourself if you can. Do you remember that moment, probably early on in your career, at least I hope it was early on, where you just suddenly realised, I'm in charge now and what do I do?
Yes, I remember it. I had started at World Vision and I had come in as the recruit manager for Australia. And we did some great things. We ripped a lot of money out. We stopped paying agencies. We put systems in place and stuff, but the workload was just so intensive. And so my boss at the time said, you need to recruit. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm good at recruiting. I'm just not good at recruiting for myself. And now I have to recruit. And it's really important because if I bugger it up, it's my reputation on the line. If I bugger it up, we don't get the right person. All the things. And so I recruited someone in and, we ran a process. We did the proper thing, right? Because I practice what I preach. You know that. I walk the talk. And so we brought someone in who was experienced, but not totally experienced, but also just had that attitude of learning and growing. And so I was scared out of my brain because I'm like, if this doesn't work, we're in trouble here. But I realized, okay, that's my job now. I get to recruit my own people. That's cool. Then I had to work out that you don't recruit in your own image. That was a whole nother story, right? Because if you recruit in your own image, that's not ever
very real
work.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, good. How exciting. So how did you go? So I am going off on a bit of a tangent here. How did you go? When you recruited, did you get the right person in first up? Was it a bit of a trial and error? How did you go that first time round?
Well, I was with the organisation for 12 years and they've just finished 20.
Right. Say no more.
So I got it right, which was awesome. The next couple may be a little bit wobbly because you don't always get it right in recruitment, right? For a variety of reasons. I think the next one we recruited someone and they had all the experience. On paper, they ticked all the boxes. She was delightful. And then she got in and realized that she could probably coast. And I am not a coaster. And so you don't coast with me. It's like, what can you proactively do to help the business, to enable the business? What's the business's strategic goals? And that was hard for her. She didn't last very long. That was really hard for her because she was, you meet those people and you're like, this is my job. And it's in a nice little box. And then there's these other people who go, this is my job, but I'll do all the other things to gain all the other experience. And that's kind of how I sold it. But she didn't want to do that. So she probably still lasted 2.5 years, which is not bad. Yeah. But also that was me like push the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You don't want to recruit somebody that's going to give you more work to do.
No, especially in recruitment. I mean, our loads were heavy. We probably all each had a load of 40 jobs at any one given point in time. It's a lot of recruitment.
That's a lot of turnover, lot of...
Yeah, turnover. Yeah.
Turnover, but also the processes as well. You've got to make sure you get them right, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember my first couple of weeks there and I'm like, where are the CVs? We didn't have a system back then or anything like that. And then so I'm 5 foot, and then someone pointed to a bookshelf, and on the bookshelf was lined with reflex. You know what the paper comes in, the reflex boxes, the lids.
Oh yeah.
And inside the lids, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's beautiful A4. Inside the lids were like piles and piles of CVs, and that's what we did. Someone, poor bugger, printed them all out, stapled it all up. And they were put up there and you just came and got your job.
Oh, no.
And I was like flabbergasted because I'm like, I've worked in agency, right? I mean, I'm so dinosaur. We had index cards anyway. But these boxes were up there and I'm like, then what happens? And they're like, oh, the hiring managers just come along and take a few and put them back. And I'm like, what? Anyway, got rid of that system, as you can imagine. I was just like bamboozled, but I'm like, you work with what you've got, and what we had was paper. Now there's that, and then we put in a system and all the things. But I mean, it wasn't hard to get low-hanging fruit wins, Yeah,
that's true. Low starting point. It was easy from there.
Low starting point, very easy.
Well, they wouldn't have known what hit them. Modern technology. Here she comes.
I don't think they did know what hit them. I think I was just as energetic as I am today. So can you imagine?
Good. They deserved it.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's bring them into the 20th century.
Yes.
21st century even.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What's a mistake you made earlier on that you think has now turned out to be a real gift?
Oh, I love this question. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I think the biggest mistake, which has turned into a gift. I think the biggest mistake was I'm pretty direct, as you can hear and see. And so I gave pretty direct feedback, and that meant people cried. And sometimes I'd give feedback and I would be like, it sounded better in my head. You know how that goes. And so what I then started to do was practice out loud, and that kind of helped to smooth those over. And I kept giving direct feedback because I feel like people deserve to have clear feedback. And I just got softer in my approach and how I did it. I mean, the brain does wonderful things. The moment you say, I'm going to give you some feedback, everyone runs for safety, right? So, you got to think of other ways to do it. And also, I had to learn the really hard way that you can't just take from people's emotional bank accounts with feedback. You've got to fill them back up. And I think the stat is like 6 pieces of positive feedback to 1 piece of negative feedback. And if you're not doing that, you're just taking. So I think the mistake was I may have just done it a little bit too direct and a little bit too harsh. And the gift is I was trusted in the business to give the right feedback at the right time. But I mean, that came later. It was a good year or so of like fumbling my way